As the last few years passed over Lincoln County, North Carolina, the dream homes 24 families thought they'd spend the rest of their lives in never came to be. And the planned developments quickly became rotting carcasses of unfinished custom dream homes.
Yeah, my lot now is a giant dumping ground.
And clients like Lisa LaBelle lost their life savings here.
Yeah, this would have been the front door.
LaBelle was banking on a husband and wife realtor developer team to build the last home she planned to own. LaBelle bought this lot in an unfinished foundation from Lincoln County realtor Joy Cado and Cato's husband Mario's Lion Real Estate Group. LaBelle then signed a contract with Mario's Distinctive Homes and Development Group to build a home on the lot.
I've lost my life savings on this transaction.
But 4 months after she signed the contracts and wired Mario Cotto $158,000, LaBelle says he put 2 days of work into the framing and she never saw him again. She later found out the month after wiring Cotto the first stack of cash, he took a $168,000 bank draw from the construction loan. When she fired Mario Cotto 4 months later, she was out more than $300,000.
And he just ignored the calls from the bank, ignored my calls, and this is what he does. He just disappears.
During our investigation, we found a second subdivision where the Cottos sold land home packages. This one is near Maiden. And this is what we found when we got there. Several unfinished foundations and one house that once showed promise. In all, the development held 7 more unfinished homes. What would you say to Mario Cotto if he were standing here today?
I would say, Mario, I trusted you. I trusted you with my dream, with my life savings, and you committed a heinous act of fraud, and you took the food out of the mouths of my kids, and you should be ashamed of yourself. It's not what a man does.
We'll move into our settlement discussions.
First cases are D23-2936 involving Joy Lynn Cotto from Mooresville, NC.
LaBelle was the first Joy Cotto client to file a complaint with the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. The commission met in May to vote on Joy's future as a realtor. LaBelle accused Joy of knowing about the delays in her husband's builds and keeping that information from the people she sold lots to.
Do you affirm that the testimony you are about to give in this proceeding shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
A year earlier, LaBelle faced off with Joy and Mario Cotto in this Canopy MLS Realtor ethics hearing in Charlotte.
I'm Joy Cado. I work with the EXP Realty.
Joy, can you give me an example of when your Distinctive Homes and Development finished a home with the stated date on the contract?
No, you were going to be the first.
This is where LaBelle first accused Joy of knowing about the delays in her husband's home builds and hiding that from clients at closing. The Canopy panel agreed with LaBelle, finding Joy violated the realtor's ethics code by concealing and or misrepresenting what she knew about the properties and transactions. Canopy MLS ordered Joy to take an ethics course and pay a $3,000 fine. For more than a year, the Real Estate Commission had Joy Cotto under investigation. Lincoln County records show 14 properties in LaBelle's subdivision were all owned by Mario Cotto's Lion Real Estate Group and later sold to homeowners between 2020 and 2023. 11 of those 14 lots had building permits listing Jerome Blackman and Blackman Custom Builders as the original general contractor there. Mario Cotto later transferred the permits to his Distinctive Homes and Development Group, where he's listed as a managing member along with a woman named Barbara Norman. Norman is the new general contractor Mario used to replace Blackman. The state's licensing board confirmed Mario Cotto is not a licensed GC.
Joy Cotto was a listing broker, and the complaining witnesses were several buyers. Respondent Cotto acted as a listing agent for her husband's company her husband was a builder. The complaining witnesses alleged that Cotto was aware that her husband was not completing the construction of the lots that they had purchased, but she continued to list the lots and sell them without any explanation or notification that there were issues with the construction. Cotto served in a similar role for her previous husband, and she had done that for a long period of time. So we would present to you a case where we say that she should have known that these lots were not homes were not going to be built.
Just before our investigation aired last year, the North Carolina Real Estate Commission opened its investigation into Lisa LaBelle's complaint against Joy Cado. The commission's case file shows Joy, who was initially licensed as Joy Fry, then Joy Clark, earned her realtor license in 1988. The commission's background records show only one criminal conviction against Joy. 5 years before becoming licensed, she was convicted of 2 counts of welfare fraud in 1983. The judge sentenced her to 12 months in prison but suspended the jail time and ordered her to repay the government $800. But the case file shows no criminal charges or disciplinary actions on Joy's realtor record since.
I've lost my life savings on this transaction.
That's until Lisa LaBelle came along.
Cado acted as a go-between between the buyers and her husband, the builder. When he failed to respond, she would respond. So we contend that she should have been aware of these delays. She was being notified that things were not being built.
In May, the Real Estate Commission negotiated a deal with Joy Cado. She could give up her real estate license for 2 years, and the commission would drop the 3 investigations and all allegations against her. And the commission agreed that Cado wouldn't even have to admit to any of the misconduct allegations against her. The commission appeared to have the proof, and Joy Cado seemed to know it. The commission investigator wrote in her report, she interviewed Joy and Mario Cado 4 months after our report aired. Mario told the investigator the complaints and our report were a witch hunt. When the investigator told Joy the commission collected documents from 15 other Cado clients, Joy started to cry and turned to Mr. Cado and said she might have to retire early. 6 months after that interview, Joy Cado and the Real Estate Commission agreed to settle the investigations.
We have agreed, subject to your approval, to the surrender of her license with no right to reapply for 2 years. So I recommend that settlement to you.
Curious, were there deposits paid by buyers and then the work was just never completed?
Work was started on some, but it was just nothing. I think there was 1 spec home and there was 1 completed project, but the others were just slow and, framing put up. But it was a complete failure.
So the buyers never closed on these properties, but were just basically kind of strung along with no end in sight.
They bought lots, and of course, with the builds, they had the construction contract where they had paid builder deposits, etc.
Anyone else? Questions?
How many homes, how many buyers?
We have approximately 19. That includes the 2 that were completed. And so there are multiple buyer complaining witnesses, but not every buyer filed a complaint.
Fact pattern is the same though, pretty much throughout the whole thing. So is there a motion? Any further discussion? Not hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Do you think that that was justice for what you went through?
From the perspective of no one else can become a victim, I think it is a victory. However, 2 years suspension for the amount of evidence that was provided, I think it really warranted her license being revoked and her not being able to ever sell real estate in North Carolina again.
LaBelle still believes the commission went easy on Joy Cado, and the people who opened up their life savings and trusted the Cados, LaBelle says, are the only ones getting punished. During our investigation, LaBelle and other Cado clients turned to the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office for help. Months passed, and LaBelle says the sheriff's office stopped communicating with her. Lincoln County District Attorney Mike Miller's office confirmed it had an active, open investigation into the Cados. But in December 2024, 6 months after our news investigation aired, the DA's office ended the Cado investigation. Assistant DA Rick Schaefer wrote us, I have determined if there is any liability for the transactions investigated, the liability would be civil and not criminal. It appears that in most cases, a bank allowed the defendant to make authorized draws based on work performed. I do not believe that, at least with the information obtained by the detective, that prosecution would be successful, nor would it be warranted. I think it shows the need for people to do research before hiring people to do substantial projects, particularly projects involving substantial sums of money. When individuals are actively engaged in a business, particularly when work is performed or materials are purchased, criminal liability is difficult, if not impossible, to prove.
All of the wood was just the 2 days they were here in November of 2023.
LaBelle says the DA's office never once contacted her.
In December, after you pressing the district attorney, I get an email flipped to me from the detective from an iPhone that was from you to the district attorney, and the district attorney saying he's dropping everything. And I said, can you please email everyone? I'm not going to do that. I'd like you to email them, tell them that the case is closed, that you're not going to pursue it. They didn't. I emailed the sheriff multiple times with other evidence throughout this case and never got any response.
Sheriff Beam.
I filed an open records request to see what the sheriff's investigator did, but the sheriff's office ignored our request. Still today, we haven't gotten a response. The DA's office responded, saying it would not hand over any record of the investigation because state law allows prosecutors and law enforcement to keep those records secret, as they are not public records and can only be released with a court order. Some weeks ago, I emailed some allegations, serious allegations involving some builder fraud out of Lincoln County.
Okay.
Why would your office not entertain to hear more information about that?
Well, we absolutely welcome complaints from consumers across the state.
Lisa LaBelle and other Cotto clients filed complaints with then North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein's office. Stein's office told LaBelle the AG dropped LaBelle's complaint after Mario Cado did not respond to the AG's letters. Stein's office wouldn't even schedule time to talk with us about what we found in Lincoln County. So we found Stein at a public appearance in Charlotte last year. Your office wrote back, because his business failed to respond, your office was closing that complaint. Why stop there?
We can't act and bring a lawsuit for every single complaint. So what we do is when we get a package of complaints where there's a pattern or practice where it's clear that there are a lot of people who have been affected, that's when we can take the next step.
So one, is it enough?
Now, I wish we could, but we get 16,000 to 20,000 complaints every year, and we don't have lawyers to bring 16,000 lawsuits.
LaBelle says she still has video recorded evidence that Mario Cado owes her money.
I gave you $158 to save on interest, right? I had the cash. I was trying to save on interest, and I wired you $158 prior to closing.
LaBelle, her own realtor, and Mario Cado had a Zoom call in February 2024, just before LaBelle fired him.
So how much are you saying that she has left credit in total?
So right now I'm showing $77,451 plus what's been paid out as far as overhead. We're looking at approximately $87,000 for me to get this through framing. That's what's left.
That's what's left. So he's admitting that he owes me that and wouldn't give me the money.
LaBelle says Josh Stein's office could have found this same information had the office taken the time to listen to her.
Are you interested in looking at these properties while you're here today? I wish I had time. I'm all over the place, but thank you.
Could you just take a second to speak with us about what's going on here? I'm not interested. We send messages to you guys as well.
Right. Well, we haven't got an answer from you. There are a lot of people who say you have built them out of their life savings and retirement.
You need to dive a little bit deeper into the true story.
That's why I'm here, man.
I have no interest on providing any statement or anything.
And just like in our investigation before, neither Mario nor Joy Cotto would interview with us about these allegations. Just weeks after our report, the North Carolina Licensing Board for General Contractors got a court order against Mario Cotto's Lion Real Estate Group and Jerome Blackman's De Novo Homes for building homes without a contractor's license. The courts granted an injunction against both companies, banning them from doing any work where a general contractor license is required. The order does not, though, impact Cotto and Blackman's other companies. Lisa LaBelle hired an attorney right after our report aired, but she quickly learned suing over what happened to her is useless. LaBelle says her attorney told her because of an $800,000 judgment filed against Mario Cotto in Catawba County back in 2019, Cotto would have to pay that off first before any of the homeowners who sued him could ever get a dime from him. But LaBelle tells me she's still not finished. She's now planning to go after insurance policies connected to the people and the companies involved in her failed home build. Our investigation may not be over yet.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.